Oh, snap! It's another Snap review from the Family Gamers.
The rifts changed our world. Even as villages were torn apart, the Riftforce spread across the land. What once seemed lifeless began to rise and awake. Gifted individuals were able to control these living elementals. Now they have come together to share knowledge and forge temporary alliances to defend access to the rifts.
Is this a movie trailer?
No, it's a Snap review for Riftforce. For Riftforce!
Riftforce is a 2-player card game designed by Carlo Bortolini and published by One More Time Games.
2 players ages 10 and up can battle for control of the rifts in about 30 minutes. The art in Riftforce by Miguel Coimbra is great. It looks fantastic. This is what some of the cards look like. We just wish there was a little bit more of it.
Yeah, each set of cards has a summoner reference, and then all of the other cards are just identical elementals with a single large number in the corner.
The cards are really easy to push shuffle, which is good because you'll need to shuffle a small deck very thoroughly to start this game. So, Anitra, let's talk about how to play Riftforce!
All right. You start by laying out the 5 rift cards and the 2 score cards to create a central play area. Both players will take a random summoner. Then they take turns drafting from the available summoners until each player has 4.
Shuffle the elementals for your 4 summoners to make a single play deck, and then draw a hand of 7 cards. On your turn, you can do one of 3 actions. You can either play up to 3 cards to your side of the rift. These cards must all be the same type, or suit, or elemental, or all the same number, and they have to be placed either all in the same space, or in adjacent spaces.
Or you could activate up to 3 of your placed elemental cards. Play a single card from your hand, and then announce whether you're activating the matching type, in this case crystal, or the matching number, which would be 5. Then you may activate the elemental attack power of up to 3 cards already played that match that.
The third option is called check and draw. So here you draw your hand back up to 7 cards, and you gain Rift Power if your elementals control any spaces that are unopposed on the opposite side. You gain Rift Power on a check and draw, but also anytime you defeat an opposing elemental with the Activate action.
Rift Power is the score track, but it's also the trigger for the end game. When one player reaches or passes 12 on the Rift Power track, you finish the round, and then the game ends. Whoever has more
Rift Power
is the winner.
So, Anitra, what did we expect from this game?
Well, we generally like 2-player battling games. We play them against each other. We play them against our older son. The setup here of facing off across a rift reminded us at first of Fight for Olympus.
Yeah, that's an older game from Mayfair Lookout Spiel.
Yeah.
Yep. But it had a cool kind of deck mashup mechanic that reminded us a little bit of Smash Up, which is another game that we like.
Yeah, being able to draft your elementals and then make a new deck is a really cool idea.
The art looks great, and building an army with 4 different factions does give a lot of variation to the gameplay, especially because you start with a random summoner.
You can't plan on picking the same ones every time.
Right. So that's kind of what we expected when we opened this box up. What surprised us about Riftforce?
Well, so even though the components of Riftforce are really straightforward, there are 10 suits with 3 numbers in each suit. The summoner powers and the rules governing what can be played together, all the same suit or all the same number, make Riftforce a surprisingly strategic game.
Every turn, you'll choose between getting more elementals on the board, or attacking your opponent, or drawing more cards. The draw and check action can be used to your advantage to gain points, but only if you time it well, which I am very bad at. But it meant we constantly needed to refer back to the reference summoner cards. 4 factions might actually be too much unless you play this game a lot.
And due to the luck of the draw, you often end up leaning heavily on just 1 or 2 of the 4 factions that are actually in your deck.
I'm also a little bit disappointed that the box makes it look like a much bigger game than it is. It's 110 cards and 28 generic tokens. You could fit this entire thing in like a sandwich baggie.
Yeah. We were also not really prepared for the game to be quite so fiddly. You're adding small damage tokens to multiple cards along the rift, and you're often trying to move the front card in a stack, which means pulling everything else out of the way. But it sure does feel good to take those opposing elementals off the board and get your Rift points.
Rift points! Anisha, do we recommend Riftforce?
I think Riftforce is best for preteens, teens, and adults who are ready for a head-to-head battle.
Over the Rift. I mean, the Rift.
It's easy to learn, but it's going to keep your brain engaged, trying to activate your elementals in just the right order to take down your opponent.
It's definitely not a game for sore losers because you're so invested in what's happening, and there is a little bit of luck going on.
There's still a lot of luck in what you draw.
Yeah. So, Anitra, what are we going to rate Riftforce from One More Time Games?
I think we're going to give it 3 out of 5 elementals. And that's
Riftforce!
in a snap.